Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of Ask the King, part 76, which means if you missed part 1, be sure to check it out on demand on YouTube on the King of Hate vlogs. If you're here watching live on stream, that's where it's going to be afterward. I'm going to upload it to the King of Hate vlogs, my vlogging channel on YouTube. Okay? So let's go ahead and continue. We're going to start off with another question from my forums on thekingofhate.com. Alright, this question is from Glamorous Jarl 30. Okay, then. And he asked the following. He says, Phil, I'm in college, and a lot of my friends are gamers like I am. Over the last year or so, I noticed that these friends are prone to rage over games, to the point where one even broke his controller. This is a trend that I have seen where games cause rage amongst people who they smash keyboards and chairs and even TVs or monitors that they're playing on. While I know that fans of all sorts of media get mad over certain things, I see more rage in gamers and more extreme rage in gamers, like to the point of smashing things. Why do you think gamers are prone to more rage than other media outlets? Well, the only thing that I can think, now this is, I personally have had rage before, don't get me wrong, playing games, fighting games in arcades, playing fighting games at home, and even I remember, one or two playthroughs where I got so angry, I angrily smashed my controller down on my old table in Connecticut, and stuff like that. I definitely do not do that stuff anymore. Like, I'll get angry, but I'm not going to smash my equipment. My equipment's too important and too valuable for me to be smashing around and everything, I need it to be functioning properly. Here's what I would say, and this is a total guess. This could be 100% conjecture. When you do other outlets that may be considered as competitive or challenging, usually they're physical outlets. So I'll give you an example. You go out and you play a sport, right? Man, we're playing football, basketball, whatever it may be, against another team, and you're physically exerting yourself during this sport. You're burning calories. You're tiring yourself out physically, not mentally. Yes, probably mentally too, but just in general, physically is what I'm trying to get at. Now, something goes wrong. Oh my God, yeah, you're gonna get angry, but do you really see yourself then going and fuck this, and you taking chairs and throwing them around and fucking take the basketball, pop the basketball, explodes everywhere? You see, number one, if you're in a competitive sport, obviously that's considered bad conduct anyway. But if you've already been physically exerting yourself, you're too fucking tired to do any of that shit. You know what I mean? From what I think is, you got people who are gamers, so you're sitting down like me on this couch all day with the controller in your hand, you're playing the game. Are you physically exerting yourself? No. Maybe mentally you're exerting yourself. Physically, you still have energy in your body. You're not physically tired, right? A lot of gamers are drinking energy drinks and eating snacks and stuff while they're playing. You're filling yourself with energy, but you're not doing anything to really exert said energy. So now that you're building to a climax in a video game and something happens that pisses you off, slam the controller, punch the laptop, take your microphone, rip it into pieces. You know what I mean? Like, I think what it is a big buildup of energy that's not being burnt. And now all of a sudden, because you get so overly angry or excited of something that happened in this game, now it all explodes at once, right? And when that happens, sometimes you could have what would be considered what's the word I'm looking for? Remorse. You know what I mean? Because can you imagine having a valuable piece of equipment? It's not like back in the day. These controllers are freaking expensive now, man. The minimum probably $30, but some of these cost up to $60 now. Can you imagine getting so angry at a game and slamming your controller down and destroying the controller? Or, now imagine if you're a tournament player and you lose in a tournament online or something and you get so angry, you take your $200 tournament controller, smash it, break it, snap it. Pretty bad. That would not be very good. So that's my guess. I mean, I'm sure everyone has a different personal experience. For me, as I've told you guys, you have to learn to be a good loser before you can be a winner. I had to lose in tournament play or competitive play 1,000,000 times before I finally got to a level where I could handle the fact that losing is a very strong possibility, and I could come in with the mental acumen to actually not be intimidated by anyone I'm playing and persevere in a tournament setting. If you don't have the rage-causing moment first, you can't actually have the moment of success and victory. At least in my opinion. I was not one of these savants that when I started playing video games or competitive Street Fighter, that all of a sudden, day one, I'm amazing and I'm blowing everyone away. For me, it was a hard grind, of learning and repetition and competition and practice that allowed me to eventually get to a level where I could win. And there were many days of rage. I'd slam the fucking arcade cabinet, fucking piece of shit doesn't work, but fuck this, slam the controller, slam it, but if I were doing something physically exerting, I don't know if I would have the energy to do that. So I think that's really where it spurns from, okay? G-Man80 did 100-bit cheers. How much natural daylight a week do you get? Natural daylight? Well, anytime I'm in my living room during the day, there's natural daylight because we have open bay windows that can't be blocked, but that's negligible. My back door on my place is a giant windowed door that always has natural light coming in. So would be considered natural light. So probably a couple hours of natural light when I'm downstairs. And honestly, that's about it. Like everything else, I'm in the office a lot of the day, or my bedroom, the blinds are closed at night. I don't have the blinds open or anything like that. My one day out a week is the day when I'm out and about to be in the sunlight all day long. So that day, from early in the morning till I get home, 12 hours at least of exposure of sunlight. So there's your answer. It's probably a troll question anyway. All right, Richie7 asked the following. He says, Phil, I've been a fan since your Bloodborne playthrough a few years ago. Since then, I've gone back and watched some of your older classic playthroughs like Heavy Rain, but I want to know, what would you consider your must-watch playthroughs that every fan of yours should go back and experience, and why? Well, you know what? And I'm going to be very honest with everyone. This is not a question for me. This is a question for you guys on stream right now, the viewers, or those watching on YouTube if you want to leave a comment. What do you think are my essential playthroughs? Now, I know people will joke here or whatever. What were the playthroughs that you think are the best I've ever done that would bring you to watch me or want to see more? Let's see what people have to say. Scarface, there you go. That's rage-filled. Dark Souls 1. Fallout 3 or New Vegas. Heavy Rain, someone says. Okay. Spider-Man. I wonder which one, because I've played many Spider-Man games. Ultra Street Fighter 2, someone says. Modern Warfare 2 says King of Golf HD. Until Dawn. That's a good one. I agree on Until Dawn. That's a funny one. Grand Theft Auto 3, and I did 2 different playthroughs of Grand Theft Auto 3 over the years. Modern Warfare 2. Neo. The Mega Man X Collection. Any Grand Theft Auto. Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Silent Hill and Resident Evil, so someone likes my survival horror stuff. Doom, someone liked my 2016 Doom playthrough. The Dead Space 2 demo, which of course is the one that got me banned from Blip TV. I actually don't know if that's actually live on YouTube anymore. I think it was at one point. It might not be anymore. Mortal Kombat Challenge Towers gameplay. If you're talking about Mortal Kombat 9, I agree. Mortal Kombat 9 had the funniest challenge towers. There was a fucking baby, and it's like Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung talking to each other. He's like, that is not my baby. I don't know what you're talking about. And then Shao Kahn's like, do not try to unload your baby on me. Take this baby back. It was like the silliest shit, but it was just fucking funny. It was really entertaining and challenging, too. Uncharted 4, Dragon Quest 11, The Darkness 2, any retro platformer, Assassin's Creed 2 for sure, says Hobo X. So there you go. There's some really good suggestions. And I apologize. There's no way. For 11 years, I've been making videos. There's no way that I could tell you what's more entertaining to my viewers. That's why I can't answer that question. I'm just someone who plays games at face value. I can tell you what games I've enjoyed. That doesn't necessarily mean it's one of the better playthroughs. You know what I mean? John the Fool says, my first playthrough of The Last of Us. Persona 3, TV Superstars. All right, Azura's Wrath. All right, there you go. Next question. This is a two-parter from Adam Dark Blood. So let's go ahead, and this is going to be a longer question, I think, to answer. So let's get into it. He says, my question is a two-parter. In one of your last retrospective streams, you got a very light version revelation on the recent fate of Screwattack and their YouTube channel changing to focus on their most successful product, the Death Battle franchise. In a couple of old Ask the King podcasts and a few Hate Live podcasts, you've alluded to some past experiences at Screwattack Gaming Convention and knowledge of Screwattack. Could you share all your past dealings with the Screwattack brand and its people, both in person and as a light fan? That's part one. Let's answer part one first. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I've talked about many, many times over the years, I was an old school fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd. In fact, I will still say to this day, he was one of the people who inspired me to try to make content for the internet. Because when I saw this guy who obviously didn't have a big budget, didn't have a giant film crew, when he was able to just make funny ass videos on the internet and get very popular for it and make money doing it, it inspired me to try to do funny videos, you know, in a different realm with, you know, live gaming and commentary over it. Okay. And the Angry Video Game Nerd used to be partnered with Screwattack. He used to be a part of Screwattack, and he had an exclusive partnership with them. That what he would do is when he had a new video, he would provide it to them, and then Screwattack had a partnership with GameTrailers.com, and they would release his video through them onto Game Trailers. All right, so it would have an exclusive premiere audience on GameTrailers.com for like weeks. Then later on, like for months later, then he would upload older episodes of the Angry Video Game Nerd to YouTube. So it was a weird partnership. This was before the era of YouTube partnerships to make big money. It was like this thing where it had nothing to do with YouTube. It was Angry Video Game Nerd would give his video to Screwattack. They would give the video to Game Trailers. And then they also, Screwattack would provide their exclusive video content to GameTrailers.com. So I would watch other videos of Screwattack on GameTrailers.com, including their game reviews, countdowns, and Hard News, which was their weekly news show. They also did things like comedy skits and the like, and I watched some of those, and some of that I liked, some of it I didn't. And this is back in the day, the old school Screwattack. We're talking Stuttering Craig, Handsome Tom, Perfect Liz, Jose, and a few others. There was like 5 or 6 people who were like the core of Screwattack back in the day. And then essentially a lot of stuff happened to Screwattack. But before we get to that, back in the day, before I ever made a video for YouTube or was known for any of that, I wanted to go on basically kind of a vacation for myself. Now, this is during the era when I decided I was going to not do competitive fighting games anymore, but I wanted to get back into mainstream gaming. So over the course of 2007, I played a ridiculous amount of console games and re-immersed myself in this gaming world. And when I did that, it was the end of 2007, okay? At the end of 2007, I wanted to go to a gaming convention. It was the first gaming convention I had ever attended, and I decided to go to MagFest. And Screwattack was a huge presence at MagFest. They had advertised, we're going to MagFest, come hang out with us at MagFest. So I was a fan of theirs. I was a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd. I said, I'll go to MagFest. And so I went, and if I remember correctly, I think the Angry Video Game Nerd was supposed to go, and he ended up not going, and it was a big disappointment. People were angry. Honestly, I didn't care. I was just going to have fun and hang out. I had the best time, like, no lie. So, number one, this convention center that they were in was cheap as shit. I was able to get a hotel room. Now, this was before YouTube, so I didn't have any YouTube money or anything like that. I was able to get, like, a hotel room with a giant jacuzzi tub in it for, like, cheap as hell. I was able to, you know, I attended the convention. They had arcade machines there, so I was playing fighting games. They had a Street Fighter tournament that I participated in. They had a rock band exposition where people were playing rock band, and I actually started hanging out with the guys from Screwattack and explained to them who I was, that I was a former, you know, professional fighting game player, and I was a big fan of theirs, an Angry Video Game Nerd and all of that. And basically, you know, interacting with them, we kind of became friendly friends. And they were like, dude, do stuff with us the whole time you're here. So I did. I actually was part of their team. They had a team for Modern Warfare 2. Or was it 1? No, Modern Warfare 1. Because I'm trying to think what year that was. That was Modern Warfare 1. So they had a tournament at MagFest for Modern Warfare, and I was on their team. Part of the Screwattack team. And they actually took videos with me in them. They did a skit where they destroyed a copy of Shaq Fu, and I was in the skit. So it was kind of fun to do that stuff. Now, that was before YouTube, before I was known for doing anything on YouTube. So that was a really fun experience. It was a ton of fun. And then later on, years later, sadly, Screwattack kind of had a big falling out where the two main guys involved were Stuttering Craig and Handsome Tom. And I don't know if it was ever revealed behind the scenes what happened with them, but they've split. And so you had Screwattack over here with Stuttering Craig doing one thing, and Handsome Tom started his own thing over here. And I basically just kept following Screwattack. I never very much followed what Handsome Tom did with his stuff. And so I remained a fan, even though, admittedly, I didn't watch everything they did. Like I said, there were still things like Angry Video Game Nerd and Hard News were the things that I really enjoyed watching, you know, as ongoing content from them. Then when I became my own content creator for myself and I started doing stuff on YouTube and I became popular on YouTube for doing videos, gameplay videos and the like, basically I stopped following everything. I stopped watching Angry Video Game Nerd, Screwattack, everything. So it kind of had not necessarily a falling out, but I was just so busy doing my own shit, I didn't have time to really follow along with them anymore, okay? So then, years later, Screwattack announced that they were going to do SGC, Screwattack Gaming Convention again. Now, I hadn't been involved with the first ones that they had done, because at those days, it was like my formulative days of doing stuff on YouTube or whatever. I wasn't busy with it. But now, say around 2012, 2013, there was actually demand for me to attend conventions again. And people wanted me to have like a table at a convention and you know, not only just promote myself, sign autographs, but have like a panel and stuff. So, it just happened to be that Screwattack Gaming Convention in 2013 was going to happen, and they were going to do an Iron Man of Gaming tournament where you play a variety of games, and the winner is like the big crown of like you're supposed to be like one of the better gamers in the country because you're good at a variety of games to win this tournament. And I was like, this is a no-brainer. Not only can I go and promote myself and my own content, right? I can go and I can have fun with the Iron Man of Gaming. And I know the guy, you know, Stuttering Craig, I know him from back in the day from Screwattack. So I wrote him an email. I was like, dude, you know, I'm interested in coming as a guest or whatever. And we had really cool interaction. He's so cool. Stuttering Craig is like, seriously, like one of the most straightforward, cool guys I've ever met. He was like, dude, I know there's some hate against you on the internet or whatever, but I don't even care. Like, you're an original content creator. You're one of our original fans from back in the day who we hung out with. Now you're successful. Let's have you here. And it was such a fun experience. It really was. And then that was pretty much it. Because at that point, the next year, I was interested in going to Screwattack Gaming Convention again. But what happened was I decided that year I was going to move. That was when I moved 2014 from Connecticut to Washington State here. And when I did, I had no money anymore. Like, that was it. I was like, this is the one thing I'm doing. I know I'm putting myself into massive debt doing this. So honestly, if you actually look at my history of convention attendance, like Screwattack Gaming Convention 2013 was really the last major thing I did before I moved, and that was it. Like, that was the last one I was able to go to. And you know, there was even talks. I was talking to Stuttering Craig again in 2014 about possibly attending, and then I told him, you know what, you know, at this point I'm not gonna, there's no way I could do it because I'm moving and I don't have money anymore. And, you know, in the future, if I'm ever interested, I'll let you know. But thanks for the opportunity, but I'm not going to be coming this year. And that was it. Like, since then, I really had zero interactions with anyone from Screwattack at all. Zero. None. And so, you know, what this person is addressing, I forgot his name, Adam Darkblood, is, you know, people had asked me, did you hear about what happened to Screwattack? I was like, no. I had no idea that Screwattack had basically been bought out by a company. They were apparently bought out by Rooster Teeth. And when they were bought out by Rooster Teeth, they had a channel primarily just become Death Battle, and almost all the other stuff they used to do, including hard news and all that, went away. All the stuff that I used to watch them do and stuff basically kind of just disappeared. And I guess what happened is Stuttering Craig decided, man, well, that kind of sucks because people followed us for that kind of stuff. And so we're going to do our own channel. I think they call it Game Attack now. Where Game Attack is where they do that stuff, but the Death Battle is still part of Rooster Teeth or whatever. Okay. So I knew none of that, and I just kind of heard about that. Basically, Screwattack doesn't exist anymore. There's Death Battle under Rooster Teeth, and there's Game Attack under their own channel and stuff, and that's all I know. Okay. All right. So the second part of this question is, how does it sound to you that even Craig himself and former staff of Screwattack have been brought down to the same kind of things, like merch sales, cheers, and Patreon to survive, just like yourself? Apparently what he says, he said more than that, but basically what he said is, when the YouTube adpocalypse hit in 2017, it even made them, now these are the people who've been around before me, before I even started. They had a viable business that was making money. They had an office in Texas where they ran out of. They had multiple employees, a successful video series, and then of course everyone jumped to YouTube. And then all of a sudden in 2017 becomes unviable to do, and now they have to basically try to make ends meet doing other shit. It's terrible. I'm sorry, it is. It's just terrible. It's terrible to hear that people that previously were successful can't be successful anymore because YouTube fucked up. Because essentially that's what it is. YouTube fucked up so bad that they ruin things for thousands upon thousands of people who were trying to make their dream come alive. I want to do what I love for a living. Oh, it's viable. All of a sudden, overnight, it's not, because YouTube made mistakes. And the saddest part about all this, they don't take responsibility for it. Not once has YouTube ever come out and said, listen, we understand we made horrible mistakes automating our website and basically not paying any attention to these things that would make advertisers come in. We admit that now, and we're really publicly sorry for it. And we know that there's people who had entire livelihoods based on us doing a good job, and we didn't. And we're sorry. They've never done that. They never will. To them, they've always done everything right. Like, everything's good for them. I mean, it's just bad industry conditions, right? Not the fact that you put advertisements on terrorist videos and racist fucking videos, and you got one of your biggest guys, having fucking suicide bodies hanging in a fucking Japanese forest in a video you put ads on, and slapping people with squids and putting them on cars and shit, and, none of that's YouTube's fault. That's all, but that's what I mean, like, it sucks because I know the Screwattack always had talent. That was the thing, they had talent, and they had passion for games, and they might not have had the best quality video or the biggest production budget, but you could tell that they had talent and passion. And the fact that they even can't make ends meet, and they're out, we have to have a Patreon, we have to sell merch, we have to do this. That sucks. They were huge. They were fucking enormous. They were one of the bigger outlets of independent gaming coverage on the internet. And now they've been reduced to basically everyone else, what everyone else has to do, pandering or whatever, in order to make ends meet. Just like, it sucks. It fucking sucks. Okay. Let's continue on. The next question. So how long are we? We're 20 or 30 minutes? Oh my God, I can't see. I think 20 minutes? Okay. Let's keep going. Our next question is from DSFan324. He says, would you ever... Oh, no, excuse me. I completely misread that. The next question is from Eternal Napalm. He says, would you ever hold a docile snake like a corn snake, a California king snake, or a ball python? Yes. If it's a docile snake that's not going to bite the shit out of me, I'm actually not afraid of animals of any sort, honestly. I like animals a lot, wild animals. Like, they're fun. Now, I'm no fucking, crazy wildlife guy who's going to jump into crazy situations like Steve Irwin or anything like that. But if you had a docile snake, I'm not afraid of it. You know what I mean? I would hold it. That's cool. Dark DOL has subscribed for 7 months. Thank you, Dark DOL, for the 7 months of support. And Emperor Dogs just did a 50-bit cheers. That if you were to go back to talk to your younger self 18 years ago, what advice would you give him? 18 years ago. So that would be, oh my God, 2001? Jesus. I mean, that's such a lifetime ago for me. Like 2001 Phil and 2019 Phil, I feel like I've been through two different lives. Everything was so different back then, Let's be real honest. The only thing, honestly, that I would just tell them to invest in certain things, right? Like, what blew up during that time period? If you have some money, instead of wasting it on frivolous shit, go invest in that and go make a ton of money and be rich for the rest of your life. But that's it. Hindsight's 20/20. No one can do that. No one can go back in time and say, go make money on this gambling bet or go invest in this stock, But outside of that, it's so long of a thing. I was such a different person back then than I am now. Now I'm so much more open-minded and mature. Back then I was this very stubborn guy, this very cynical guy, and, very hard to even reason with. I don't even know if I would have listened to my older self about anything. I'm being honest. Emperor Dogs. Oh, I just read that. Never mind. Okay. The next question is from DSFan324. It says, will you get a frog as your next mascot? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about this, because the reason I picked this question is because I think it's very pertinent to you guys who watch on live stream. As you can see, I have a mascot behind me by the name of Snowball. No one really talks about Snowball. Almost no one ever references Snowball. Snowball just kind of sits there and doesn't really get any attention. All right. Before Snowball, we had Chestnut, who was a squirrel. He was there from like January to like April. And quite frankly, there was a little bit of reference to Chestnut every once in a while. Chestnut would fall over. It would be funny. No one really talked about Chestnut that much. Before Chestnut, we had a Christmas pooch who did actually get a little bit of attention. All right, because it was a holiday thing for the month. Before him, we had Potion, the Halloween cat, the black Halloween cat. And Potion got a lot of love because Potion was the first kind of mascot that we ever had in a video. Potion sat there and people were drawing fan art of Potion, always referencing Potion and go pet Potion. You know, it was kind of a cool gimmick for the month of October, but when October ended, we got rid of both. It was Potion, by the way. There was also, what was his name? Bone Meal the Skeleton, who was sitting over here for Halloween. Now, I have nothing against that. I'll be honest. I thought, gee, people must like that. If you'd like more decorations and stuff behind me during the year, I'll do it. This hasn't really worked out. No one really cares. You know, no one talks about Snowball or interacts with Snowball or cares. No one really did it for Chestnut. You know, Potion, it kind of works. It was the first one ever. And to some extent, the Christmas dog was all right. I don't really think this is working anymore. And quite frankly, I don't think it's a big deal. Like, we rarely ever talk about the mascots. So, in reality, I don't think I'm going to be doing mascots moving forward. Like, Snowball is probably the last one. Maybe come October, all right, we bring back Potion for the month of Halloween and Bone Meal for the month of Halloween or whatever. But I don't think this makes sense because no one really cares about it. You know? So, quite frankly, thank you, Snowball, for the month that you were here. But I think it's time to retire Snowball. Over here. We also have Chestnut, who really hasn't done anything, just sat there for about a month. I said, I think that they were cute when they lasted, but I don't really think that there's any point, you know what I mean, to have a mascot if no one really cares. I think for a holiday gimmick, it makes sense, but not really for anything else. So maybe come October, we'll bring back Potion, but I don't think we're going to be having those mascots moving forward, you know, to being honest. Okay? Emperor Dog says, oh, wait a minute. Mike Murdoch resub for 8 months. If you could fix anything about YouTube, what would it be? The problem is YouTube is so ingrained in itself thinking that they're right that I don't think it's one problem that could fix anything. I mean, essentially what needs to happen, YouTube needs to essentially admit fault and say that they're going to try to fix it. Not once ever have they done that. Not once in their history have they ever said, we totally screwed up, we're going to fix this. Instead, it's excuse after excuse, or it doesn't, what you tell us is a problem doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? Like, they never do that. And because of that, things never get better. They just get worse. They would have to become a site that actually listens to feedback from people who use the site on a daily basis, people who make their living on the site, and change it positively. And they don't do that. So that would be it, to actually have them listen for once, I guess. Emperor Dogs Cheers said, what's your thoughts on the situation involving Channel Awesome? I don't even know what the situation is. I mean, there was a situation over a year ago where there were all these accusations of one of their employees was sexually harassing women, and they were basically, employees were being misused and mistreated and not being paid for work that they were doing for big specials and the like. And basically there was a max exodus from Channel Awesome like last year, but I haven't heard anything about it since then, so I have no idea what you're even talking about, Emperor Dogs. I don't. Okay, let's continue. We're now moving on. Actually, you know what? Before we move on to Twitter questions, because we are going to move on to Twitter questions, let's give a very special thank you shout out to the following patrons. Okay? X86, Uncommon Sense, Villix, Fallen 1570, Big Tone 995, Infinite 55, Casey Wood, Planet Jeff, Thomas McDonald, Sean Given, Last Rambo 341, QPZMWN, I blew that one, David Denmark, Raleek, Stormforce Gamer, Richie7, Show Creos, Steven Slater 007, Michael Denealt, and Ghost. Thank you guys so much for your ongoing patron support. All right? All right, now let's move on to Twitter questions. We've got about 20 minutes before we take a break, although maybe I'll take it a little earlier, only because there's going to be a part 3, and I'm running out of questions, so maybe I'll answer like 2-3 questions, then take a break, and then we'll come back, finish those, and then do stream questions. Okay? All right. Let's go. Here we go. So from Twitter, we start with Chewbacca73, who asked the following: what keeps you motivated as a streamer, even though through the amount of shit that you've been through? Well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Number one, my passion for video games, because the truth of the matter is, I really do enjoy video games. Like, before I did YouTube, I enjoyed video games. I grew up with them as part of my childhood, and I was part of this cultural movement when video games became a mainstream form of entertainment, and that was amazing. It was actually a life-changing thing for me. So even if I wasn't able to make a living doing this, I would still be playing video games, you know, as a form of entertainment for sure. Okay? And the fact that now, on a daily basis, I get to share my gameplay experiences with all of you. I get to give my honest responses to a video game that I'm playing and let you know exactly what I think about it. These are all amazing things to me. Like, really, and I mean this, I definitely think that the last 11 years have been the best 11 years of my life. Even with the highs and lows that I've been through, I've experienced more and become more open-minded and more of an intelligent, mature person in the last 11 years than I've done my entire life before then. And I mean that. I really do. I felt like before then my life was kind of frivolous and I didn't really have a direction. And now at least I feel like I've done something with my life. At least from what people tell me, what I've done is meaningful. Like I said, I get messages from people all the time telling me, Phil, thank you so much for doing what you do because you're an original. You're someone who's been around for a long time. You're inspiring to us that you tough through all the shit that you go through. And the fact that you give us yourself every day is an amazing thing. There's people who told me they've been through horrendous things in their lives. Diseases, people passing away, unemployment, you know, things that are life-crippling shit. And the fact that they're saying, oh, I just come and watch your stuff and it cheers me up and it motivates me to do better and to keep going. Holy shit, man. I've actually made a difference in people's lives just by sharing my honest passion for gaming over the last 11 years. That's a pretty amazing freaking thing when you think about it, right? So, I just gotta say again, thank you all for this wild ride. And to anyone who you feel that I've helped you in that way, you're welcome. I never intended it to be that way, but the fact that I get those messages is one of the major reasons why I'm inspired to keep doing what I'm doing, you know? But yeah, the fact, I mean, there's many positive things. I get to do what I love for a living. I make my own schedule, even though you might say, well, Phil, you're kind of like, you're a prisoner to your own thing because you have to keep working a ton. You don't get time off like other people do. You don't have any money. You're right. But at least at the end of the day, I can say, you know what? I still love my job, right? And I love interacting with all of you. And it's been a wild ride, but it's a fun ride. It's a positive thing. And, you know, there's always going to be negatives, but for the fact that I still, every day I get to come to work and have fun interacting with you guys. I was ecstatic to come to for Ask the King today. I'm not even joking. I was like, this is cool. Today I get to answer people's questions. I don't even have to do like a video game setup capture over here. I can just sit and answer fun questions all day. This is amazing, and people love this content that I put out. You know what I mean? That's an unparalleled feeling. That when I used to have an office job where I would feel like I would come in and be undervalued, they'd have me do work that I wasn't even getting paid for. They didn't care. You know, retail jobs I've had before that where you're just a cog in the fucking machine. They don't care how much work you actually put into it, you know, as long as you get the job done and, you know, no actual rewards or benefit for doing well. I've worked fast food, you know, before. God, my God, is that a grind of a hell of a thing, you know, and it's a totally different thing. You come home smelling disgusting every fucking night. I had, at one point, because I was the dishwasher, I had bad skin, so my entire arm was in a disgusting eczema rash for like a year working at fast food and stuff. They didn't care. Oh, well, that's the job. You don't want it, get another job. You know, I've been there and done that. I've done the grind. I've worked my ass off at jobs that I hated for most of my life. And the fact that I get to come to one that I like every day now is a very different experience. And even though I've been through so much shit, the fact that I get to do what I love every day, I get to be my own boss, make my own schedule, I get to do something fun, and I inspire people to feel good and feel better every day, that's why I still do this. There you go. I received a couple tips. I got a tip from Talk Like a White Girl from California, who tipped me $1, says, you've been wearing this cowboy hat for all this time. You haven't sang a single verse from Old Town Road. Plus, really don't sell yourself short. Have a kid. What about cat? This is you want a kid. I've already explained this a million times. We don't want kids. We've talked about it. We don't want kids. It's not that I don't want, you know, I can't have one, or, you know, we actually don't want kids. We talked about it seriously. We made it before we got married. We made this decision together. We just don't want children. Okay. An anonymous $5 tipper, thank you for the anonymous $5 tip, says, not a question for Ask the King, but think about playing Void Bastards, a first-person shooter. It's a roguelike where you go from ship to salvage supplies, and it has comic book-like graphics. Well, I've never heard of it before. I don't know if it's a new game or if it's out. If anyone's heard of this game, Void Bastards, feel free to let me know if you're interested in seeing me play it. First time I've ever heard of it. Okay. All right, let's at least do 1 to 2 more questions before we go on break. Okay. The next question from Shadow. He says, "What are your top 3 ever PlayStation 4 exclusive games?" Damn. This is a tough one. I mean, the Order 1886 has to make it up there. That's like number 1. There's nothing that would ever top the Order 1886. We all know it was such a life-changing, game-changing experience. Once that game released, it was like the whole landscape changed. And as you saw, every game after that just had to emulate that game because it was such a insane game changer for everyone. Okay? Alright, obviously I'm just fucking around. I would say if you're thinking hardcore PS4 exclusives, honestly, for me, the biggest PS4 exclusive that was the best was Bloodborne. Because that was like taking the Dark Souls formula, throwing it into this really cool Lovecraftian Gothic style world with a mystery plotline, supernatural plotline behind the scenes, cool gameplay. Like I think Bloodborne is one of the best games of the generation, and the fact that it was a PS4 exclusive, just like, oh my god, I felt so bad for people on Xbox One that they missed out on that, right? I would also say God of War, because God of War was such an amazing reimagining of what the franchise could be in the future. All right. And the fact that the graphics, the gameplay, the story, the voice acting, the immersion of the world, the amount of content. There's a million reasons why God of War was my game of the year of 2018. And that's another one that, like, if you didn't play it, you fucking seriously missed out. Okay. As for the third, that's really tough. All right. Because, first of all, I would have to say, here's what I'm going to do. I think this is actually a good idea. Before I try to concretely answer this question. Okay. I'm going to see if I can bring up a list of PlayStation 4 exclusives. PlayStation 4 exclusive games. Can I find one? The best? I don't want that. I just want... Okay, Wikipedia. Here we go. Wikipedia should have a cumulative listing. Alright, I'm going to go right through here and tell you what games I think are amazing. Bloodborne right there. Boom, that's one. See, I mean, Days Gone. Was that a good game this year? Yes. Was that an amazing, groundbreaking game I'll never forget? No. Death Stranding may actually end up being one, because Death Stranding supposedly is a PS4 exclusive for, like, I think a certain amount of months, and then it's going to PC, they said. Let's see here. God of War is definitely in there. Yes. I'm sure some people would say Horizon Zero Dawn. I will say that's a great game, but no, I feel that it wasn't original enough for me. Oh, Killzone Shadowfall. That's the end of the list. Killzone Shadowfall is the third one. Fuck. That game was so bad, dude. See, I would say, oh, Last of Us. No, Last of Us, you gotta remember, was a PS3 game, and then it got ported to PS4. So. Alright, I'm still looking here. Oh, I totally forgot that Spider-Man last year was a PS4 exclusive. That was a good game. Spider-Man was really concretely good. So I'll say that's up there. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be top 3 for me. But I would probably say, looking at the whole list, remember, Until Dawn, that was a great game. Yakuza 6, that was a pretty good game. But looking at the complete list, I'm going to go with Uncharted 4. So top 3 PS4 exclusives of all time: Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, and God of War. That's it for me. With a close fourth coming in, Spider-Man from last year. There you go. All right. Let's see here. The world isn't black and white. Tip me $1. And he's basically being an idiot, so I'm just going to ignore him. Thanks for the $1, idiot. SPV tipped me $5. Says, thanks for taking my question. I was wondering where you would like to go on vacation someday. I've already answered this, but I'll answer it again. Kat and I would really like to go to Disneyland in California, and then probably things like Universal Studios in California. That's really where we want to go the most. Even though there's other places we'd like to go, like she said, she'd like to go to Japan in her lifetime. I'd like to go to Europe. We've talked about maybe going to Canada. Definitely it would be California, Disneyland, and Universal Studios is where we want to go. LA area, California. Okay? Don't know if we'll ever be able to, but maybe one day. Spawn Killer tipped me $1. Says, how is the Chinese takeout in Seattle? The Asian style food around here is really good. And not just Chinese. There's Chinese, Vietnamese, pho in particular, Thai food, and Japanese food like sushi. There's some good shit around here, man. And the Chinese, I can tell you 2 Chinese restaurants near me that are really quite good for Chinese takeout. So it is pretty good, man. Thumbs up for me. I got an anonymous $1 tip asking, would I ever consider streaming myself watching the E3 presentation, since I'll be in stream chat watching with us anyway? No, I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. There's zero value in me watching them live because I don't overreact to everything to get a cheap reaction from my audience. When I watch E3, I watch very much just like this. Taking notes, just like this. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I let the information sink in, and then immediately when an E3 press conference ends, then I do my own reactionary stream where I'll recap what happened and give you my honest thoughts about all of it. I do not do, wow, guys, whoa, I don't do any of that stupid shit. You know, I don't. It's not me as a human. I don't do dumb reactionary shit like that usually. So, you know, it would be a waste of time. No one would be interested in me doing it. Trust me. And I feel that people who do that, it's the cheapest, lowest form of content creation. It's meant solely to get money. That's all it is. It's solely to get attention and money. There's no point in doing it. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Salty Crotch tipped me $1 and wants some lean-in bands, but I'm not even looking to stream chat right now. All right, so that's what, 5, 6, 7, it's like $9 extra. So that's $132. Thank you guys for your support today on stream. Amazing. All right, let's do one more Twitter question. Then we'll go on our final break, and we'll come back and we'll finish the Twitter questions. We'll take some Q&A from the stream chat and wrap the show up. All right? So the next question is from Nathan Drake. He says, what games are you most looking forward to play this year? Well, now that we're actually starting to get some information, I would say the most anticipated game for me right now is Death Stranding. No lie. Like, after we got a little bit more of info about what the game is, we've seen a little bit more about it. We know it's not a stealth game. We know it's coming out this year. It's got to be Death Stranding. That's number one for me. But I would say some other games I'm definitely looking forward to. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Crash Team Racing. Shenmue 3. And to some extent Borderlands 3. And I would also say, because now we have more information about it, Call of Duty Modern Warfare to see what they do with it. Those are some of the ones I'm looking forward to. Keep in mind, E3 is literally 11 days away. In 11 days, we're going to get so much more information about games coming out in 2019. This whole list might change. We might have like 10, 12 new games that are high-profile games coming out by the end of the year that I'm excited for. So we'll see in the next few days, but that's my short answer, okay? And G-Man80 did a 100-bit cheer and says, what big game is up next? The next big release I'm playing, would be, let's see here, probably Crash Team Racing, because there's really no high-profile releases coming out between now and mid to end of June. I think there's Crash Team Racing, Judgment, Super Mario Maker 2, and The Sunken City all coming out within 2 weeks at the end of June. So it's going to be very new release heavy June and early July this year. But there's really nothing major coming out the first 2 to 2.5 weeks of June. It's a slower time because of E3. So, okay, guys, let's take a break. Again, if you're watching on stream, this will be about another 5-10 minute break. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to end this part, and you can just watch part 3, the final part. We still got a bunch of good Twitter questions to answer. All right, and then we've got some questions I'll be taking from the stream chat. So thanks everyone for your contributions so far today. We'll be back shortly with the conclusion of Ask the King. See you in just a few minutes.